Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
And welcome back, everyone. We have talked about this before, how everything in life is a choice. We have choice in everything, and that might be difficult to fathom when you're in the face of adversity. You got a lot of stuff going on. I didn't imagine myself being here. You might be saying to yourself, however, you have a choice in terms of how you react to situations. Now let's go a step further. Happiness is a choice. And there's more that comes along with that. We're going to dig into that today, especially this time of the year. We get a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stress, a lot of personality conflicts potentially, and maybe some unhappiness circling around. But again, it is a choice. He's an accelerated healing specialist. He uses so many different modalities to help you move your life forward. He's an intuitive coach, a hypnotherapist. He also practices acupuncture and so much more. He's our professional of the year. It's great to have Chris Distefano back with us. How are you doing today?
Doing great. Thank you, Steve. How about you?
Real good, and curious about what we're going to talk about today, in that I get that happiness is a choice. Took a while for me to figure that out. But you alluded to something before we jumped in here, how it's also about planning to be happy, it sounded like, is a game changer as well. And I don't know if I'm describing that properly, but take us from this journey on.
Thanks, Steve. So I decided to look because, don't want open cold. And according to stuff out there, heart rate variability, various surveys, we're in the 3 most stressful months of the year. And we've been talking about fear, anxiety, and that negative side that we run from. But there's also the choice of the positive. I know this, having suffered from pretty high level depression, some anxiety for most of my life. I didn't believe it was a choice. And what I've come to realize is I get to pick my frame. I get to pick how I'm going to feel. Now, granted, there are forces that may push me. There's definitely times that we react. I react. The emotions come up.
Sure.
But it's whether or not I'm going to hold on to them, whether or not I'm going to let them define me. So the best example I could think of, it's an easy one. I'll do it in the way that's more relatable than the way I process. Let's say I'm nervous about meeting a person or going into a situation or what may happen. So I used to be like, I don't want to go to this wedding. I don't, the resistance.
Mm-hmm.
The resistance causes the suffering. I go in sour. I'm bringing that into the experience. Whether or not we want to admit it, most communication is nonverbal. We sort of sense it. I get a bad feeling from that guy, whatever you want to say. Now I go into basically anything I'm doing because I am willing to say no if I really don't want to do something. I don't force myself to people please. So when I go into something, even if I don't know or if I'm blank, I go in expecting the best. I go in a place of joy, happiness, and curiosity. That makes my experiences so much richer. It makes people more open to me because I'm more open to them. I'm genuinely curious. That happens with everything. So yes, you can take all the woo-woo part of a lot of the stuff I say, take it right out of there. If you go into a place with a smile on your face versus wearing a frown, wearing that look that no one wants to see, you're magnetic. A real smile, not one of those fake ones, a real smile.
How do you, and I 100% agree, and I given that example before of going to the gym where I walk in, and I as I'm walking through the parking lot, I'm saying to myself, raise your vibration, bring it up, positivity, let's go, positivity. I'm not doing anything different, but people walk up to me, or I'll pass people in the kind of area where we walk. There's one area where it's kind of the straightaway, and people will smile like, hey, how you doing? Good morning. Hey, how's it going? I don't even know these people, but it's a different response just by raising the vibration. So I'm on your page, but let's go back to going to an event. You really don't want to go. You're just like, I really, it's a commitment. I should put up a boundary and say, I don't want to, but some things we have to do. How do you go into that with positivity, even though you're thinking, I don't want to be here?
Honestly, the way I do it, first of all, I've set stronger boundaries, so that happens less often to me. But truly, the way I go into it is I'm going to give it everything I have. Now, I'm going to go back to your gym thing. Your workout is contingent upon your mood. So the whole reason you're going there, our bodies are better when we're happy. Our brain, I have to pull myself out of my head because my brain is setting the stage of this is going to be blah, blah, blah. Essentially, what's underneath that resistance when I go to the event I don't want to go to, because there still are some. Mm-hmm. Underneath that resistance is going to be a level of fear. I may see someone I don't want to see. I'm afraid of interacting with new people. I am uncomfortable, blah, blah, blah. If I can put that aside and be completely open to, I am going to go in blank slate and make this the best it can be. Plus, I'm not recommending everyone do this, but I have in the back of my head, if it turns south, I'll leave. Mm-hmm. So yeah. I'm not trapped. History of claustrophobia. I'm not trapped.
Yeah, there's always an out. You can pull the ripcord.
Exactly. So then what's the fear? The fear is if it turns out, all of a sudden, I don't lie, but for a person that likes to, oh, my stomach's feeling a little funny. Oh, the babysitter called. Oh, whatever. Always finding out. For me, I'd be like, I don't feel so good, which would be a true statement.
Well, yeah, I don't feel so good. People might take that as a health related thing, but it's more mental. I don't feel so good.
They can interpret it
being here
in there. Yeah, I'm not feeling so good. I've got to go. And I haven't had to do that, but that would be my out. And now if I go to an event, anyone that's watching is going to be like, I know what you're up to, buddy.
Hey, everybody, we were just kidding about all of this right now.
But you never know if you're going to meet your new best friend.
Yeah. So it's opening your mind to it. But for me, the fear factor here is also, I don't want to be here. And I have a fear of engaging with people that I don't want to talk to. And then I'm going hypothetic here, but I think there's some truth in a lot of it. I have to engage with people I don't really want to talk to. There's a low level fear that they're going to detect that I don't want to be here. I'm going to have to put a happy face on, and maybe it's a holiday gathering and, drunk Uncle Vinny's going to be there and he's going to start talking about politics. And I just don't want to do that, but I got to suck it up. How do you do that?
I love that, Steve. You brought up so many brilliant things. Thank you. Because you are so far wrong. That's old me. New me is like, oh my God, I'm going to develop these new skills. I'm going to stretch myself. I have an opportunity to grow. I'm going to ask Uncle Vinny about the time he was 12 years old and set off a cherry bomb under whatever. I'm going to make Uncle Vinny a new person because I'm going to connect at the human level and express interest in him. I'm going to help this to be the best Christmas gathering ever. Because I'm going to bring myself as a whole person, not phony, never, ever. I did that. That was my depression. I wanted to be who people would like. Everyone could spot a phony. So I pushed people away. It's the simplest thing. Instead, go 100% as yourself, connect with the people, let go. Like I said earlier, let go of the stuff in your head. Go with an open heart. People are there for celebration and for joy. Bring out that in other people. And you've just shifted the whole paradigm. They might be like, I had a conflict once at work a million years ago. I was like probably 20. And this woman, we didn't communicate well. It was a miscommunication thing. That's the key to everything. Work on your communication skills. We all know that. That's what I've been doing because I realize what I say and what people hear is not the same thing. So I have to be able to perceive how they're receiving and recalibrate. Because they may misinterpret. So she said some stuff that got me up. I was a little bit angry at the time, and we sort of had it out. But then we sat down and we cleared the communication. We got along awesome ever since then. So even the people that you might never want to see, If you're able to connect at a different frequency as a human at that level, all of a sudden it's like, my God, I never saw that in you before.
Mm-hmm. And you never saw things before because now you're approaching it differently. I totally get what you're saying. That hypothetical thing I threw there was just we all do it, but we don't see how different it could be just by changing the way we're thinking going into it. And that's, I did the same thing too. My ex, her family, she got a bigger family. There was a celebration every weekend. Somebody picked up a drinking straw off the ground. Let's have a party. Let everybody gather together. I'm like, I wake up at 3:00 in the morning. I just want to be home and just relate. And so a lot of them I didn't go to, but I could have probably, that was the old me. I could have reframed that, and for the betterment of not only myself, but others. And then part of it, I just wanted some alone time. Because 3 times in a weekend sometimes was, to me, I felt a little excessive, but, I could have reframed it. And, or that was me putting up boundaries. I could have put up more strategic boundaries and maybe not gone to everything, but gone to some, but looked at it in a different way as we're speaking now.
That's it. So for me, we all develop different areas at different speeds. For me, the social one is one that I'm working on now because it's one that was probably one of the toughest. So now I view all of these as opportunities for me to practice.
Opportunities. Opportunities.
As an introvert by nature, you see, extroverts go ahead and blow me up. Introverts, and as someone else said this, I'm regurgitating. Introverts make the best extroverts because introverts naturally receive the feedback. We tend to hold it in our heads and bang it around and interpret it, but we're more attuned to the feedback. If we can recalibrate how we perceive and react and responding instead of reacting, we're actually better at the communication side. Extroverts are more comfortable in it. So as an introvert, these types of settings, previously, I used to say, I'd rather dig holes in clay for an hour than have to meet new people for an hour. It is less physically exhausting. The physical exhaustion was actually from having to play a character and from thinking of what I'm supposed to do.
Yep.
If I can let go and just be, that's what a couple of drinks tends to do for people. But it's not necessarily the person you want to be. Sometimes you're drunk Uncle Vinny ranting about politics.
Right.
But that's it. It's like that letting go, that being present, that enjoying that whole, and I say this word a lot, and if anyone doesn't understand it, the whole reframing, the whole looking at it from a different angle, because frankly, the resistance, you did the right thing by not going to everything and calibrating what's appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
But the resistance to going frequently is based on embedded fear and trauma patterns.
See, I figured this out, and I shared this a while back in terms of my fear of blood tests and the anticipation. How am I going to react? Am I going to get queasy? Am I going to pass out? What's going to happen? And it went on for years. And I don't know where it comes from. Maybe as a kid, you got that one needle and whatever it may be. I don't know. Yeah. I do know, over half into my life, I got a finger prick and I was like, I think I'm going to pass out. Maybe that's the fear there. But in the last year, opportunity reframed it all. Now, sign me up. I can't wait. I'm looking forward. This is going to be fun. And I know it sounds ridiculous, but the opportunity is I'm getting information for my health. Maybe maybe needs a little tweak. Maybe it's going to be fantastic. And the other opportunity is, I wonder how long it's going to hurt, if it's going to hurt this time. Wow, last time it didn't hurt. Wow, I'm curious. Total reframe. And I think it's what we're talking about here, even going to that party or wherever, that family function. Where's the opportunity?
Yeah, that curiosity is so powerful. It is like when you open that door, the unknown becomes an adventure as opposed to a fear.
I have an appointment this afternoon. I'm trying to take care of my health a little bit better. Different doctor. The one I had was out of the health plan I'm in. Nothing major. Just, basic checkup, whatever. I'm curious if I'm going to like this doctor even better than the last one. Maybe it's a better office. It's closer. I wonder what it's going to be like. Listen, if it doesn't align with me, pull a ripcord and jump out and then find another, whatever it might be. But in the past, be like, oh, God, yeah, doctor's obviously going to go in, get an insurance card, wait. I don't think that way anymore.
It's exactly it. You look at happy people. Now, let's slight detour again. Our mood that we're in sets the weather for all the cells in our body. Happiness is health. Like, people forget that.
Say that again.
Happiness is health. Since I've been happier, I don't get sick, knock on wood. I used to get sick, and I don't get sick. I know other people, same thing. They do not get sick. I feel better than I did 10 and 15, 20 years ago, physically, mentally, emotionally. I have, you want to crack the code to health, be happy, not fake happy,
right?
Real happy. Again, it's not you don't fake it. You kind of a tiny bit can, but it's setting a new pattern, the resistance to life. And that's exactly, so you dropped the resistance. So you got to go to the doctor to get your tests done, whatever. Either way, you have to go. You dropped the resistance. The resistance, as I like to say, is the pain. Because that's where we are fighting what is. You cannot fight a riptide. You can't, otherwise you exhaust yourself. You learn how to go with it. You can't fight waves. You learn how to surf them.
I just wrote that down. Resistance is the pain. It's the
I
truth,
say it a million times. The resistance is the pain.
It is. And what does this mean? My mom always used to say, go with the flow, go with the flow.
Yes.
Well, go with the flow of life. And what you said before, and we're going to get to an email in a moment. What you said before, in terms of being the real you happy, as opposed to the phony happy is just as bad as being the miserable you. It's the same thing.
I tried it. I tried to play a happy character.
Yeah. It's not you. And now
it wasn't me.
And now there's resistance because the internal Chris is fighting it. This isn't me. And in turn, isn't there resistance? And that's making you unhappy.
Yes. The fake happy me was nice. So I'm following all of the conventions of what a nice, because nice is people pleasing. Kind is authenticity. So I'll have a tendency to be a little blunt, but I'm always me.
Yep.
And I do it from kindness. People that know me, I say some crazy stuff, but they understand it's from the heart. And it's because my patients who I give a hard time to, and they're the ones, and if anyone sees me and I don't give them a hard time, it doesn't mean I don't care. But when I give them a hard time, they know if I didn't care so much, I would just let it slide.
Yeah.
But this is because no one's gone to this level with them. I pushed them.
You're being real.
Yeah. And this is actually how I do a lot of the trauma work, because what happens with most of us, and this is one of, people have different skill sets. One of my good ones is finding avoidance. And we build our skill sets based upon what we are. So I am amazing at avoiding. I am not proud of it. It actually is difficult and led to a lot of problems. But a lot of what people will pick particular words or avoid particular words, and it stands out like a neon sign. And I'll bring them back, and there's a discomfort. They want to squirm away from it. They don't even realize they're trying to. This is the resistance. In my belief, the most insidious resistance is avoidance, because we don't even see it. We're not even aware it's there. So a person is processing by avoiding, and what we avoid defines us. And I do a variety of trauma release programs. A lot of trauma is stored in the body. So the rapid release technique, doing the body movements to release physically stored trauma, will often clear the pattern of trauma without having to talk about it. This is almost the opposite of the book, The Body Keeps the Score, where we're going through therapy to release from the body. I can work with a person through the body. So if you're aware of areas that you're holding, if you begin to relax those areas. I'm not going to say stretch. I have issues with stretching. I believe that stretching can actually tighten muscles. Limbering up a little is one thing, but stretching can tighten muscles. We could do that on a different call. So releasing trauma, first, a person has to commit because it's an uncomfortable process. Another thing is start small because you have to learn to trust yourself enough to let it go. Start with a small thing that bothers you because until you trust yourself enough to go there, you'll experience what the resistance feels like is extremely uncomfortable. You'll start physically playing with your hands, touching your face, very high levels of discomfort, sweating, rapid breathing. It could trigger a panic attack if you're not in the right setting because you don't trust yourself enough to face it yet. Start small. Once you do that, once you do that, the payoff on the other end is 100 times the work you put in. And then you start to actually value and relish. Oh, great. I get to get over another one. I'm going to feel even better.
It becomes fun and exciting. And the curiosity too. You wonder, I wonder if I can overcome that deep down inside because it worked on the last situation, the one before that, but it's kind of fun to say, I wonder if it's, I'm going to have the same outcome. You mentioned trauma. Funny you do, because we have Jody in Boynton Beach, Florida, checking in. She said, by the way, instantfeedbacksteve@gmail.com if you want to reach us. She says, I just started listening to podcasts and enjoy yours. You mentioned trauma. Could that come from a bad sibling relationship?
Oh, goodness. Could it come from a bad? We're talking about layers. We are talking about everything to the deepest traumas. We're talking about fear of basic things, depending if there's physical violence from that sibling. We're talking about distrust of the world. We're talking about inability to connect at certain levels with people because of that relationship. This is why for therapy, a lot of times they go into family dynamics pretty much right away. They'll frequently focus on parents, but I'll tell you what, siblings have as big an effect, especially if they're real pieces of work. I'm not going to give them narcissists, whatever you want to call, whatever pathology they have. The level of damage that they do is all sorts of areas. But the beautiful thing about it, when you find the right coach or therapist or whatever you're working with, or even on your own, what happens, a lot of times there's a belief I have to get rid of every trauma. That's a completely toxic belief. What you have to get rid of is a pattern. And that sibling may have established multiple levels and multiple instances of trauma. But releasing the pattern, realizing that that person can no longer have the power to define you, and taking back your strength, taking back your wholeness, can drop chunks of it so quickly, but it takes a willingness to face it.
It's interesting how in the past we've talked about different situations that can be traumatic. And also this is, the little T traumas of your childhood, you're 3, 5, 7, 8, the things that you experience define you later in life. A lot of times we talk about bullies, right? Wow, that was a trauma when you were a kid. Isn't having a challenging sibling, I'll just call it that, it's bullying too, isn't it? But multiply it by
God knows how many. Here's the cool part.
Because it's a family member. Yes.
Well, it's not just a family member. It's ongoing. There's no escaping it. It's someone you're supposed to trust.
True.
There's various levels. There's betrayal by the parents to not control it. There's so many levels to it.
Correct.
Beyond the bully. But here's the upside. The level of personal development and self-growth in the uncovering and dissolving of that pattern makes someone so much more of, it's playing the game on high level, on expert. The prizes are bigger. What you become is more than most people will ever reach. However far down we go, it's like pulling back a slingshot, is how far we will fly. So the release of that, you'd be amazed. I can't even tell you what's going to happen. Just know it is nothing short of miraculous in most cases.
Give us that one more time. The more you pull back,
The more you pull back, the farther you fly. The way I usually put it is the negatives are like the roots of a tree. A tree can only be as tall as its roots are deep. So you can have achievement, but if you don't have the roots, you get blown over by the wind and you get knocked right back down. You have those roots, you soar. Building is only as powerful as its foundation. These are the foundations. Overcoming these.
The slingshot, the pulling back.
Yeah.
Final question here. And we're over time, but we need to be. Pulling back, how does that connect to the work that we do on ourselves? Essentially, a lot of the things that we're describing today.
Well, so the pulling back would be the tension. The release or the dropping of the resistance then allows us to propel forward at amazing. The more we're able to let go, to not hold it in our mind, to not contract and grasp it, the more we just soar towards the person or the expression of humanity that we're here to be. That authenticity that's magnetic to everything. We stop pushing the world away, and instead we start drawing the positives into our lives. And also, physical problems, trauma leads to physical problems. Negative leads to physical problems all day, every day. This is what I do. It's
the truth.
Yeah.
It's been documented. This is one of your superpowers is massaging our brains. And then we think of things in visuals. And when you talked about, getting sick, like clockwork, every April, I used to come down with like a cold or something. I'm like, oh, there it is again. And I think back in my mind, why would that be? Because I got busier around that time of the year in terms of work and other things. And there was stress involved.
Yeah.
There it is. It wasn't that, the seasons are changing. No, that wasn't it. It was more of that. All of this is so impactful and life-changing. We just need to accept it and realize it and stay curious how this can work.
That's why everyone gets sick around the holidays, because they're running themselves ragged.
Right. But what do? We come up with excuses. Well, I went to that party and there was extra people there. And then, how about people that come off a plane and are sick like 3 days later? Wow, the ventilation system, maybe. However, you went on a flight. You had things going on. There was probably stress leading up to it. Maybe you're afraid of flying, or you got a little piece of you that's, in the back of your mind there, fear, and then you get sick. But you write it off. Oh, I must have touched something, and whatever it might be.
And disrupted sleep, time zones, stuff like that, physical stress.
Yep.
So all of it, and I promise you, reach out to the 5 people around you on the plane. They're probably not sick. So no, it's not the plane, buddy. It's you.
How do we find you? Except
the person that was coughing 2 rows back. We all blame that guy.
Exactly right. Yeah. What's the best way to connect with you? This is your life's work. There's everything you're talking about. I'm writing it down on Post-it notes. There's nuggets of wisdom here. What's the best way to connect?
Easiest is scarsdalehealth.com. That has everything else on it to contact me. You can also reach out to me directly through that. That's my acupuncture practice, and that's been around forever. So that's the easiest. And then everything else is sort of in the process of getting the full website up and running. So it'll be there.
You're busy healing people. Thank you for today. Thank you, Jody, by the way, for checking in. Instant feedback, steve@gmail.com. If you have a question, comment, whatever, be anonymous if you want. Always great talking with you, Chris. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Steve.
We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.